What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents a podcast where I discuss all things music and how it affects my life. And today on my show, I've got Devin to Embers. Not only is Devin, doing his own little solo project, he has a new project coming out soon called Worm Sheperd, featuring my good friend Brandon Cooper, as well as some other talented musicians that I know. We sit back, we talk about, how it started for Devin. We also talk about his production with the Frozen Lake song, which is amazing. If you haven't heard it, it's got, over 50,000 views on YouTube, and you should definitely check him out, as well as prepare yourself for the brutality and destruction that will be Worm Sheperd. So sit back, relax. I hope you guys love this show. Also, if you have any show ideas or you'd like to be a guest on my show, hit me up, man. Hit me up on the Facebook. Hit me up on the Instagram. Blue Presents a Podcast. Hit me up on Twitter. Podcast the Blue Guys. Let's talk, man. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents a podcast where I discuss all things music and how it affects my life. And today, I'm talking with my homeboy, Devin Durate of Worm Sheperd and Devin to Embers. What's going on, Devin? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me on here.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me. And I, like I said, I'm a big fan. And we're going to get into it right away with my first question, which is top 5 bands or top 5 artists or top 5 records. Sorry, I'm already messing up my own question.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Lorna Shore is obviously going to be the number one band. That Tom Barber helped me shape my style more than anyone. Right under them would be Miss May I. If there is no Miss May I wouldn't want to be a frontman, so I wouldn't have discovered Lorna Shore without Miss May I. I still jam them all the time. They're such sweet dudes, and they really got me, out there. 3 is August Burns Red. They started me on like a heavier music journey, basically. Number 4, Suicide Silence was pretty much the first band outside of metalcore that I listened to. I was like, okay, we're getting even crazier. And number 5, Black Tongue. Either Black Tongue or Silent Planet. I think both of those bands are doing great things. And they're very different from each other, but I love them both to death, especially lyrically. Black Tongue and Silent Planet are like neck and neck to me.
Yeah, Silent Planet, I definitely agree. They've got some songs that hit kind of close to home for me. I'm not even going to lie. That's for sure.
Garrett's a great dude.
Yeah, no, he really is. And his ability to talk about some of his mental health issues online is a positive thing, man. I think more people need to talk positively about certain things. So, my podcast is about learning the journey, learning how it started, man. I know you're really young, so how did it start for you on being this beast-ass vocalist that you are, man?
Well, let's go back to January 25th, 2015, where I attended my first show. This was the Frozen Flame Tour, August Burns Red, Miss May I, Fit for a King, North Lane, and Era.
What a fucking show, man.
I had been... Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Juggernauts talk about that shit.
Leading up to the show, I was messaging back and forth with Jared, the drummer from Miss May I, and we had set up a drum lesson because I was interested in doing drums. And so for my first show, to be able to, meet someone like him and be on, an acquaintanceship with him was really good for me, and it really kind of shaped every show I've been to since then.
Wow.
But then I was also introduced to the rest of the band from that, and when I met Levi, and he just met me with the most sweet, welcoming attitude, and I told him I want to do music, but I think I want to do vocals now after seeing you up there. He just hyped me up so much, and every Miss May I show that I go to now, I always make sure to remind him, you're the reason, you're the reason, you're the reason.
Wow. And that's a cool perspective to have, man, because most times I've learned whenever I've met artists that I admire, they turn out to be kind of pricks, so it's awesome to hear you had a positive experience and that someone motivated you to keep doing that. There's a few artists that I've met, Brandon Scalabrini of Bleeding Through, man. I don't know how he does, but every time I see him, he always remembers me from when I was in Florida and stuff like that. So he's a very nice guy and is always super welcoming, gives me a hug every time I see him. Probably doesn't remember my name, but he remembers me. So, that's a cool feeling, man. And I wish more artists took that understanding when it comes to, us people who get into their band and into them. And I understand some people cross that line, but there's some of us who really respect what they do and just want a little guidance on how to get there. You know what I'm saying?
A huge thing about what Levi did for me there is, I want to now do that for people. I want to bring people the joy that he brought to me that day and every time I see them.
Wow.
Like anytime Worm Sheperd tours in the future, absolutely, I'm not going to leave that merch table until everybody that wanted to talk to me gets a picture. I want to hear what everybody has to say because I think that's really important to be as connected as possible to your fan base.
And that's an extremely mature outlook to have, Devin, man, for real, man. I wish at your age I had the knowledge and wisdom to understand that sometimes, because I just remember when I first got into music, and even when I first got into music I was like 17 years old, and it's kind of how I met my wife and stuff like that. And even when I met her, I was like a cocky asshole. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I had that wisdom. But that's a great thing to hear, man, especially in this day and age when it comes to music. Too many people are too resistant or too like, get away from me. I'm just about making the music or whatever the case is, instead of like actually affecting or inspiring people who are actually into it, So my next question, we are going to talk about, the Devin to Embers stuff that you've done. Specifically, we're focusing on The Frozen Lake, which was produced by Aaron Shepard. It has a really deep meaning right off from the beginning, man. And man, you say some, like, at first it was just dope to hear your vocals, and then it was amazing to read your lyrics. Talk some more about that song, what exactly that song's about, if you want to get into it or you don't want to get into it, but it has some powerful lyrics in it, man, for real.
For sure, dude. I wrote The Frozen Lake. I actually started these lyrics when I was 11 years old, and I just kind of touched them up very recently. So these are, I grew up, still live in a Christian household, very Christian family. I would say that I do have a very loving family and somewhat accepting family. Yeah. But it's more of the spiritual side of things. So going to church so much as a child, I would wonder why that, because I did grow up in a very haunted home, and my mom went through a lot of stuff in there. I did as well. I don't really speak to them about it. And I'm just saying, like, what am I going to church every weekend for if this is what's happening to me? Right? And then we moved out of there, and then we're in a new home now, and 3 years into living over here, I had the same experience. So again, why am I doing this every single week? So I did the thing that is frowned upon by my family, because I did do this out of spite. I just kind of looked into Satanism and be like, what's going on over here? Like, Anton LaVey said a thing that still sticks with me today, even though I don't really agree with his views, and I don't like the fact that he's an atheist but uses Satan's teachings. I do love this thing he said here, which was, if I'm going to be around these dark spirits, or they're going to be in my area, why don't I try to get on the side of those guys instead of just automatically assuming, because of what I'm told, why they're doing what they're doing. And that made me want to dig deeper. And what he did there was actually take me away from his own teachings, because I said, yeah, why don't you get on the side of those guys? Because you didn't, because you don't believe they're there. I do. And that's what led me into this. I don't want to call it a religion. It's just I would call it my personal lifestyle of spiritual Satanism or Luciferianism. And the violent lyrics towards the end of the song is, basically it's just metaphorical for me looking at humanity and how people are treated because they don't follow a certain set of beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I do not follow those beliefs and I escaped it, I feel like I escaped it. I feel much more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I use that powerful feeling to make myself a god in there and to be a very feared being.
Now, I will say to you, I went through that similar deal. I do believe in a higher power. I just don't know what's there. But for me personally, I always thought the most important thing to me was being a good human being to other human beings, no matter what faith or religion or anything you have. You know, it is not me. It's not for me to judge. I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? So I understand you're, searching through that stuff, man. And it's always, like I said, it's always just been important to me. Just be good human beings to other human beings. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your religion is, what your color is, or any of that stuff. We all bleed red, brother. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's all. Yeah. That's all that it means, man. And it sounds like you went on this journey, man. You've come out the other side with a better perspective. And I'll give you the fact that you're doing it your own way. Because see, the problem is that even with saying you're this or you're that, there's certain people, well, you're not doing this and you're not doing that because of this or whatever the case is. You're just doing it how you would want to do it. And to me, that's more respectable, you know what I'm saying, than anything. Because fuck all that stupid shit, man. Because like I said, at the end of the day, we all fucking bleed red. Doesn't matter what color or religion we are, for real.
I agree. I really appreciate that.
Hell yeah, man. Always, man. And you seem like a really good person, and that's the other thing too. I've never heard anything negative about you, and that's really positive. So, and speaking of the song Frozen Lake, man, I got to get into these numbers, bro. You have some monster numbers when it comes to this video. Now, I found that the entire video on YouTube has over 53,000 plays. And then there's a clip that's 43 seconds long of the song, of a piece of your song. It has 16,000 views, man. That's fucking crazy, man. You are doing some like astronomical numbers. I see a lot. Like I said, before we started this podcast, we talked about a couple of reactions videos that I saw. And the one I like the best is the Hardcore Keem. And you were hitting this guttural low during a breakdown, and he was just like, does he even breathe air? And I just died laughing, man. It was great. How are your feelings on how people have received the Frozen Lake, man, and hearing so many positive things? And I did see a couple negative things, but the negative was just they didn't like how you shot the video, which I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. I think it's a great video, visually entertaining. Can you talk about how the shooting of that music video came together, and what were you trying to give people when it comes to the visual part? Because the lyrics are pretty straightforward, and that's what I love about the song. You're not trying to mask it with some, metaphorical stuff. You're really getting into what your problem or what your situation is when it comes to the song. So what were you trying to do with the music video?
Well, I really didn't even put too much thought into the video because I didn't think anyone was really going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't very much effort on my part. The dude who shot it and edited it, Sean Washington of Massive Media, he did a fantastic job at going for the style I wanted, especially for being new to this genre. He's never done anything close to this. The numbers shock the hell out of me. My life is completely changed from that video. But there's really, I didn't expect anybody to see the video, so I didn't really even put a story together. I just kind of said, well, what looks cool to me? This next video has a story. It's a much different production, and I think people are going to love everything about it.
Yeah, I saw some of the clips that you just posted literally today. That I saw a few of the clips, and I was like, man, I love the dark imagery that you use. But in speaking of this video, even though you didn't have an idea where you're going with, man, I got some like horror movie, Blair Witch, Lords of Chaos kind of feel from it, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Not in the sense of, Lords of Chaos is kind of funny-ish, but like the corpse paint and like just, oh